Jurassic Park. Hello and welcome to the show. The voice you are hearing is Richard Kiley. Spare no expense.
No expense.
One of my favorite lines ever.
So good.
Dawn, last night, well, first of all, your Jurassic World trailer reaction is just a thing of beauty. So the Jurassic Park World hype is palpable right now.
Good, yes. The hype is palpable.
So I thought there'd be no better time to start the ride. I like to rewatch the franchise if I've been out of it for a while, or if there have been quite a big gap in between entries. It's been years now. So last night I went back and I watched a movie I've seen 150 times. Jurassic Park.
The original.
The original, Dawn.
Oh, man.
Obviously, it holds up. Obviously, everything ever has been said about this movie, but it's like every time I revisit it, I'm a different human.
Yeah.
I'm getting older. Like things that, the best example is things that used to bore me as a kid are some of my favorite parts.
Oh,
like,
interesting, yeah.
As a kid, I want the T-Rex, the Velociraptors, the dinos, the chases. And now it's like, give me the science. Give me the philosophy. Like, give me, Ian Malcolm talking about chaos theory. Like, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
But Don, what is it about Jurassic Park, and where did your love for this truly begin?
Yeah, well, it began, a lot of it was related to, the circumstances of me seeing it as a young kid and the timing of it and everything. And a lot of it's related to just the fact that it's a great movie that everyone recognizes as iconic, legendary. It was like the first movie I actually saw in the theater.
So sick.
Yeah, I was
I'm
probably
so
only
jealous.
like 8 or something. It was
Dawn, dude.
terrifying, dude. I went with my pops.
Yeah.
It was my first time not just going to a theater. I knew about the theaters. My older brother and sister got to go all the time. It was the first time I got to go. It was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
He was like, didn't know if the movie was appropriate for me and all of that deal. Like, maybe I was too young.
Yeah.
But it was like a big deal. Also, the first time I ever remember, there were like, we went to buy the tickets in advance, and there were like lines at the box office. Just the excitement, being in the lobby, packed full of people, like overwhelming excitement. Getting in the theater, it was digital sound, so you have the Dolby Digital.
Dude, I was doing the research that they basically invented DTS
for that movie.
Dude, yeah.
And I remember that was like a big deal in the theater, because I remember they had the little trailer play for the DTS sound first, and it was like all the epic, super crisp, with the glass shattering and everything.
So sick.
And it was also scary as hell, like scary, like a horror movie, scary to me. Like, I actually, when I was
into
that
a monster
age,
movie,
But and so that's where the genesis of the love.
Seeing it in the theater,
seeing it in the theater, big, the Blockbuster experience, all of that. Yeah.
I actually wasn't allowed to see it in the theater, Don.
Yeah.
This is a legendary tale. My mom
so cool.
layeth the hammer down.
Yeah.
This is the only time in my entire life ever that I was not allowed to see a movie. I was 6 years old at the time. My brother was 9, so he got to go. And I just remember throwing the biggest temper tantrum, jumping on my bed, crying. My mom was like, no, it's going to be too scary. Like, you cannot go.
Yeah.
And I was 6 at the time. And then, obviously, later, I would see just the craziest R-rated movies. I mean, a year or two later, I was watching Die Hard, and Terminator,
The Shining. I remember I saw when I was like way young.
Yeah,
and stuff.
but Jurassic Park, I had to wait until they finally re-released it in the theater. I saw it in the theater for the first time in 3D when they did that.
Dude,
it was the first time I'd seen it.
That was such a good presentation. I hope you had a good experience.
Oh
with
my
that,
God,
because that was sharp, man.
Yeah,
It looked so good.
It was sick
when they remastered it.
And the 3D was like, I'd seen the movie 100 times. It was like, first
3D
time
was
in the
nice.
theater.
They did a good
3D.
job, right? They really put the extra effort in on that 3D. I mean, they actually added in like a little extra effects and all sorts of stuff. So it was a good.
So it's funny, Don. You talk about kind of the origins of your Jurassic Park love.
Yeah.
But to me too, this is kind of the origins of your love of the spectacle. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're very
here?
right. No, you're very, very right. It was my origins of love of the movie theater. Yeah, it's directly connected to that. That was the first time I ever experienced that tentpole blockbuster. And also that movie marked watershed moment in cinematic history of that was a turning point of that's when tentpole summer blockbusters got stepped up to a different level that they were at before, and that previously happened a couple decades, whatever, with Star Wars before, and certain movies change things. You know, Marvel Cinematic Universe has changed it again in terms of like what a spectacle tentpole feature is. And so, yeah, a lot of just that love of going to the movie to see a big, glorious, expensive, crazy experience with a bunch of people and that excitement of a sold-out show and everything, you know?
Highest grossing movie like ever at the time until Titanic, and then it's the oldest movie that's made $1 billion. One of the re-releases, they crossed $1 billion.
Okay.
So it has that distinction. Did you love dinosaurs before, or did your love of dinos come from
So
this?
then that probably fed into it as well of why it was such a magical thing. Yeah, because as a kid, younger than that, obsessed. Like ridiculously obsessed with dinosaurs. I was one of those little tiny kids. You know, I remember being like 5 years old and like just being able to pronounce like all the super 13 syllable long dinosaur names like perfectly. I'm sure, all the gear. I'm sure I was obnoxious. You know, I would go with my mom. I distinctly remember. I don't even know how to come up with stuff. I read like a ton of dino stuff. I'd come up with these like dino quizzes as a little tiny kid, right? Probably 7 and now 8 maybe. I'm writing, right before the movie, I'm writing out quizzes that I'd be like randomly giving to just my mom's friend. Anyone that would like come in contact with the family, I'd be like present them with a dino quiz. Can you imagine? Like a multi-page handwritten quiz.
So you're Tim in the original Jurassic Park.
Yeah, no, pretty much.
Like,
no, I could, when I saw the movie, I pretty much was like, it was odd because I like could relate in so many ways to that kid. It was he was one of my peers.
Dude, I hope he comes back because he's a really good actor.
I think they could,
He was in The Pacific. He was really good in that 10 years ago. And then he was just in Impeachment. I don't know if you watched that, but he's around acting.
And does he produce or direct? I might be confusing him with someone else. He may have gotten into directing too, so I may be confusing him. But the more people they can throw a bone to in this one, the happier I'm going to be. I think that will serve it well.
Well, serve
the franchise well.
For sure. Before we get into theorizing and stuff, I do want to talk about a couple scenes in Jurassic Park that just have not been topped.
Okay, good. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I just like I've seen it a billion times. I've seen this scene even more than I've seen the movie.
Yeah.
And it's like the Beatles situation when something is so popular, when something is so big, it gets exhausting. People can dismiss it because it's just so prevalent, like, oh my God. But the T-Rex scene, dude. I fell in love with it all over again last night. It's been a minute since I had watched it, and just the build up to it coming out, the silence, the slow bass, the rain. I had never paid attention to the rain, really. Just like dripping on the car.
The windows,
And most importantly, of course, there's some CG here, but my God, I feel like practical effects died with Stan Winston. Yeah. Like, where are they? No. Every single thing now is just like CGI green screen on a set in Hollywood.
Well, the new franchise, the new trilogy has, there hasn't been all CG. They've done like a decent amount, a pretty admirable amount of practical stuff with the dinosaurs. But for the most part, it's not non-existent. It became non-existent for a little while. It kind of like practical
making a comeback,
for sure.
Pirates, I know, helped that cause.
But Jurassic Park was just a super perfect special melding of effects with a lot of practical stuff that really, it's a miracle they pulled it off. Because when you see the behind the scenes stuff of it, you're like, it doesn't look seamless. It looks a little janky. And you're saying, like, if I would have been on that set, I would have been nervous of like, is this just going to be goofy?
Jaws
or
style.
Like, totally, yeah.
Dawn, I want to know because I was in awe, dude.
Yeah.
I rewound and I was pausing numerous times. There's a shot.
Okay.
Right when Sam Neill gets out of the car waving the flare.
Yeah.
And the freaking T-Rex sees him and roars.
Yeah.
And what is that, a full-sized animatronic? Like a full scale?
Shots. Yeah.
That shot. It's timeless.
Yeah.
You look at the CG and it's like, dude, CG ages, roughly. And it will continue to age. And that shot, that over the shoulder shot looking at the T-Rex full animatronic, that's going to be good forever, I feel like.
Yeah. if you're just in something like that, like the same space, there's
Yeah.
something about having a real physical thing that
Yeah.
just almost still can't be replicated, which is pretty shocking.
Gives me chills.
Yeah.
And of course, like then they go into the tree. Just that whole set piece is just iconic. The one that has aged a little worse, though, part of that, and it's because it's all CG, is the Must Go Faster. Must Go Faster. The T-Rex chasing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that the other stuff looked even better.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, that part's aged a little worse. It looks a little wonky there. But I mean,
parts. You see the Gallimimuses, certain scenes, or like the far away stuff that was pretty stunning when we first saw it, but now it's like, definitely with the big brontosaurs, all those shots are like, you see it's CG.
Yeah.
The audio, what you said earlier though, of like anticipating the T-Rex, that was another thing about this movie is actually when it came out, they didn't show the dinosaurs out. It was like an alien movie or a lot of the what horror movies used to do of like, you knew what it was, but they don't show you it at all, period. You just never see it in like any publications, in the trailers or anything. So like the anticipation of that scene.
The T-Rex, they never showed it?
They never showed any of I think the only thing you saw was like the brontosaur and the Gallimimus. I don't even think you saw the raptors or the T-Rex at all, other than maybe that's claw, the close-up of the claw.
Yeah.
So you were going, the first time people were going to that theater, it was like Aliens, from what I heard, where like, it was going to be terrifying, but you didn't know what you were going to see. So just the moment of actually seeing it and then that scene.
That's so hype.
You never forget.
I immediately read Roger Ebert's review and he had a big gripe.
Okay.
He had a big gripe with Jurassic Park. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Ebert.
Okay.
Skimping.
Yeah.
3 out of 4. He said that he wished that they showed less. He was like, yo, Spielberg, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, waited forever for the reveal. And he was like, yeah, Jurassic Park, it could have been so much better, but it turns into a mindless monster movie.
Oh, really?
He was pissed. He was like, yo, let's hear about, like, the repercussions. He wanted more of, like, the world building. He wanted more of, like, Richard Attenborough, like, struggling with, the genetics and all of that.
Yeah.
And he said it just kind of turned into like mindless
monster
adventure.
I could like, see the criticism.
Harsh,
it is harsh. I think it's overly harsh. It's overly harsh, but I mean, I think that's a reaction probably to like just the way they manufactured the whole like raptor thing in the third act. It was like, a horror spectacle side of situation. Yeah. But it worked. It worked really, really good. And
the adventure's fun.
If you go to right away, Lost World after that, it's talk about excess of that. I mean, even though it's a fun movie,
there's less action, more of that stuff.
No, there's more of just
action?
like excessive, insane action for everything that like pushes it to the max. It was just amazing how they multiplied that. They didn't like go the other direction at all.
Spielberg.
Crazy
that and Schindler's List came out in the same year.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park and Schindler's List, 2 of the greatest films ever. He just, same year.
Dropped him.
What a maniac.
Yeah, I know. Insane. That whole decade for Spielberg was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was like, man.
So Don, before, because I'm going to rewatch all of these.
Yeah.
I'm leading up to the new one. I want to have another episode after I've watched all of them.
That'll be fun.
We'll do one more check-in episode.
I would love that. All right, cool. That'll be fun.
I got one question.
Yeah.
Camp Cretaceous.
Okay.
Do I need to jump into this? Is this essential viewing like the Clone Wars has become for Star Wars? Like the Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, all that shit is legitimately now required viewing.
Yeah.
What about Camp Cretaceous?
I don't think it's required, certainly, and I can't really give a fair answer because I haven't seen all of it. I loved how it was connected to everything. The lore was canon. Everything in it made sense in the universe. Yeah. And at first,
where are we in the timeline?
Well, the first season starts essentially like parallel events with the parts of the first movie.
Original.
First Jurassic World.
Okay, cool. So it's that era.
So it's very cool though because events are connected to the actual timeline of this, so you can understand this Camp Cretaceous as being something you just didn't know about that is in existence.
Sick.
So I love when they do that, and they did have some direct lore, which I won't spoil, with direct characters.
Awesome.
Which is
so the kids cool.
It was pretty neat. The kids were cool. It was just for me, I guess the reason why I didn't finish it off was it was just it's like for young, and it's targeted for like maybe young teens. I don't know what maybe preteen. So it's cool, but
like
it's
Saturday morning cartoon vibes.
Yeah, but it's not like, it didn't have enough that was like keeping me, but I've heard that it's gotten amazing. And I did check in and watch some random, I think, third season episode, and it was like really cool. And so I don't really know where they took it, but it was good. It was quality. I would say if you have the time, there's no doubt I'm going to watch it at some point. I hope it's a good idea, actually. Maybe I should watch that before
because
Dominion.
It's so exciting because Dominion now feels kind of like an Endgame situation.
Exactly.
And you've heard me criticize Marvel recently and just with the amount of it, the overexposure, the exhaustion.
Yeah.
But this is only now going to be the sixth movie in like 25 years, so we're not even close to MCU levels.
And it's been several years since the last sequel because of the pandemic.
And we're bringing back original castmates, which they've done in the past, but now this really feels like the culmination of all of it.
Yeah.
So I want to be ready. I want to be fully caught up.
Yeah.
As we close this out.
Yeah.
I was watching the scene where Laura Dern, love Laura Dern, one of the greats, one of the all-time greats.
Good.
Laura Dern, 10 out of 10
I
Laura
know.
Dern. Well, the scene where she finds Samuel Jackson's arm.
Oh, yeah.
Here's my philosophy with all media.
Yeah.
No body, no death.
Yeah.
Could Samuel L. Jackson make a return to this franchise, Don? I don't know why I've never thought about this possibility, but in the age of franchises when nobody is really dead, there was no corpse. You only see the man's arm. And the same shit happens in Walking Dead. They just cauterize it.
Yeah, I love that idea.
You bring him back, he's the best.
This is how I feel about this culmination right now.
Yes,
he showed up with a cybernetic arm. I don't know. Anything is in the realm of possibility. That would be interesting. I did not consider it. I'm going to be thinking about it. I'm going to be mulling it over. It's a cool idea. I think he could find a way to make it work. Trevorrow could find a way to make it work.
Life finds a way.
Yeah.
Life finds a way, Don.
Yeah.
Lastly, before we close this out, any final thoughts on Jurassic Park 1? Do you think the franchise has lived up to that legacy? Mm-hmm. Just final musings on where we started and where we are now.
Yeah. So, I think the movie itself, as we said, holds up. I mean, there are like certain plot hole things, different things people have pointed out over time, but none of that damages the quality of it or its legacy or anything. And it's still as fun to watch now, as you see. I think the 3D conversion was spectacular, And I don't know. I think public sentiment certainly has turned a lot from when the first Jurassic World was released, okay, in terms of positive reaction to it. At first, it was probably at least 50-50, who knows. Mm-hmm. A lot of negativity around the new trilogy, a lot of positivity too.
Yeah.
Overall, though, I feel so lucky, so grateful as a fan of this franchise for the state that it's in now. I personally think they've done like a remarkable job, actually, of continuing it in a nice way. I think it's like people underestimate the difficulty of how hard it is creatively to keep a franchise like this going over time, especially something that is so iconic, so legendary, so well known, similar to Star Wars. We saw how difficult it was for them. So much baggage.
So much expectations.
Yeah, and it's like, how do you do it? It really makes you, and I don't know, like the first Jurassic World, I thought they did an absolute just almost perfect job of how they could have done it in terms of paying tribute to the past, recreating certain familiar moments that we all enjoy sequels to do, whether we admit it or not, certain familiar things, but also moving it forward without disregarding any of it in the past. And then
getting BD Wong in there was sick.
Yeah.
So subtle.
So the characters, the cast, everything has been great that they've added, and I feel like it's gone in a great direction, and I think the way they're culminating it is like fantastic. The way now they're bringing everyone back in. I mean, I'm hoping, my biggest hope is that somehow they can bring we'll talk about it, I guess, when you see the other ones, but part 3, I hope.
Jurassic Park 3?
Yeah, some of those characters
that's been the longest since I've seen Dawn. I'm excited to revisit these. I remember even liking like Julianne Moore's character.
Oh, and 2.
In 2. Like, I'm 2 is another one. Like, there are a couple movies I just used to watch every single night as a kid in my living room with the VHS.
Yeah.
Some of those movies are Aliens.
Yeah.
Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yep. I did these same ones.
And Lost World.
I used to love. Did you have the VHS with the holographic cover?
Yes.
Yeah. Dude.
Yes.
So the insert. Like,
Yes.
so
Just
sick,
as a
dude.
kid, just
Yeah,
over
dude,
and
I
over and
remember
over
that.
again.
I
This is
remember
the
that.
two T-Rexes was just so hype.
So epic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That second one was beyond epic.
And to carry this franchise on without Spielberg directing, you know,
Right,
I
yeah.
mean, those shoes to fill.
No, there's a lot. And look, the way they've treated practical effects.
Yeah.
In all of these new trilogy, they've like respected it and
Need
have
more,
included
though.
it a part of it. But it's been a significant. It's been there, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I heard that this third one is going to have the most out of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard in terms of practical effects, you know.
Let's go.
But they've had a decent amount in all of them. I mean, they have had pretty much puppets of every dinosaur, at least in certain shots, which is nice. They don't have to do that, you know.
That's my biggest fear with Avatar 2, Don. Avatar 1 had a pretty good mix, but it's a lot of CG.
I've got a lot of fears, about Avatar 2.
We'll do with syndromes
Yeah,
on
we gotta do
Avatar
separate
hype
one
for
that.
sure. If you're in the mood for some dinos, lucky for you, Horizon Forbidden West is out, so that'll
there
maybe
you go.
scratch a little bit of your dino itch.
Yep, gonna check that out.
There's only 6 of these movies. The show, and I know there's the short film, so
the
we
short
got
film.
plenty of time to refresh our memory on this franchise leading into the newest one. Oh, there's only 5 actually need to watch because the 6th one is coming out.
That's right, yep.
Yeah.
And
Easy to catch up.
No, I'm going to catch up on Camp Cretaceous, actually. I'm glad you brought that up because it was good. There was like nothing wrong with it. It was just like I didn't follow through, finish it off.
Yeah. I saw the first 3 movies are on HBO Max if you got that.
Nice.
I saw Camp Cretaceous is a Netflix joint.
They've all been re-released in
So-
4K at this point, so if
Yeah.
you have the opportunity, they all look excellent
Crisp.
in 4K. Yeah. Super good.
Wouldn't want to talk about dinos with anyone else on this planet.
That was fun.
Until next time, love and respect, allies.